A champion will be awarded in Class 2A. We're ready. Are you?
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Country Financial. Worry less and feel more confident with insurance designed to meet your specific needs. Visit countryfinancial.com to experience more today.
Coughing and throat feeling sore? We've got medication to get you out the door. Earache, pink eye, bug bite, or rash? Our wonderful staff will treat you in a flash.
What about sprains, strains, and minor fractures too?
Don't worry. Our x-rays reveal what's hidden from view. Need care after 9, 10, or 11? Our virtual care's got you 24/7. OSF on-call urgent care. In person or virtual. We're always there.
Every year, the Whiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Whiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
Home is more than a place. It's full of the people and moments that matter most. Providing for loved ones, expanding your horizons, or simply living the life you love. With all you have to protect, choose insurance you can count on so you can experience more of what you live for. Country Financial. Experience more.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum. We can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
Class 2A state title game has arrived. Maroa-Forsyth is gunning for their first state championship since 2012. Chicago Christian in the state title game for the first time ever. Looking to make history for their program. And Jared Hall getting ready to boot it away to a high-powered Maroa-Forsyth offense. And the return here across near the 40-yard line, so good field position for Ryan Shepard and company. Now let's send it down to our own Casey Standahar, who has more on Chicago Christian.
Well, Chicago Christian head coach C.J. Cesario took some convincing to leave the juggernaut that is Mount Carmel football, where he was the sophomore football coach. And with 16 state titles under your belt, it would be tough to leave that level of success, right? Well, he turned the job down a few times, but once he accepted it, he took the challenge head on, leading his team to a state championship game for the first time in school history. Some of that success deriving from what Coach Cesario learned under Caravan head coach Jordan Lynch. But Cesario told us he also gives credit to his group of ambitious and authentic young men hungry to make history here today, Sam.
Thanks, Casey. He's dressed really well, I gotta say. This purple and black Letterman jacket looks nice in the normal sun as an end around is stuffed in the backfield. So through two offensive plays, a couple of runs for a team, Jack, that's known for the pass game.
Well, they want to make sure they're setting things up. They can get a good look at the defense, how they're going to react to motion, what they're going to do off the running game. That's what you want to do initially, is to find out what kind of looks you're going to get defensively so they can kind of set you up for your normal run game or pass game.
Maroa-Forsyth and junior quarterback Ryan Shepard averaging 46 points a game, over 400 yards, and most of them through the air. Here's Shepard. It's a handoff to Grant Smith, who plunges his way to the 49, where he's met by a brick wall. So fourth down.
The other part of that, Sam, is the weather. You know, we're looking at a weather condition here that makes it rather difficult. It's cold, and of course the wind is blowing pretty darn hard, and that affects throwing the football unless it's relatively short passes.
4th and 1, they're going for it. And a little dump off. He's stuffed in the backfield. Mitch Williams, a loss of 4. Turnover on downs. And Chicago Christian fired up.
That's a big stop right there to get great field position right off the bat. And as we mentioned earlier, I'm going to be interested to see how things go. Chicago Christians has 9 players going both ways. But what a great job by the defensive back coming up on that little bubble screen. But they ended up, that was a big movement right there by Maroa to take that kind of chance. But great field position right now for Christian.
Only 45 yards to the end zone for senior quarterback Christian Flutman, and right away a Maroa-Forsyth timeout. So Chicago Christian, the Knights, they're in the state title game for the first time in program history, and it's time to meet their offense. The starting lineup is presented by OSF, and it starts really with the running back, whose coach says he's the best in all of 2A.
Well, he must not have. Okay, 2A. I was going to say he didn't see the first ball game.
Right, Tier Hill, 500 yards, 7 touchdowns.
No, he's a good running back. You know, we get to see these smaller programs, and they have really good athletes that you don't hear about because they're playing in these smaller conferences, and they're usually in Central or Southern Illinois. But they've got a lot of really good football players, and he's one of them.
Christian Flutman, another one, the quarterback. 1,700 yards, 23 touchdowns.
Maroa called a timeout there because they only had 10 players on the field.
Now they got 11. The right number. Here we go. First offensive snap for Chicago Christian in state title game history. And it's a 2-yard run for the senior Kenny Jager. Some more of our OSF starting lineups. Let's meet the defense of the Maroa-Forsyth Trojans.
Well, they do a good job defensively. There's no doubt about that. They only give up about 17 points a game, and that's not a lot of points because in many of their games, it's the second team out there playing. We got an injury here again. This could be another cramp. But when you see these kind of scores, don't always think, well, that they're playing against the first team all the time. With a lot of these scores, they're big blowouts. They're getting an awful lot of kids playing, and some of the yardages for some of these players could be a lot higher, but they're only playing a half or sometimes 3 quarters.
Injury to Chase Seitzma, the senior right guard for Chicago Christian, being helped off. Maroa-Forsyth out of Sangamo Conference. Town of Maroa, 35 miles south of here and 1,500 residents strong. Hoping that this is the year that their Trojans can hoist a state title trophy.
Well, they've had an awful lot of opportunities to do it. But even if you're losing the game, you still got a great program when you're here. You can't win them if you don't get to this game.
We're here, state title weekend in Normal, and it's great to have all of you with us for the ride. Flutman into the flat and across to the 39-yard line. Kerry Teague, senior halfback, with his first touch.
You don't want to have to make a great catch on a 2-yard gain. And those passes out there are dangerous because they can be picked because those corners come up a little bit. Good shot at Josh here. Great record here at Maroa.
His first season at Maroa, he was 1-8. Since then, it's been a machine of victory.
Great program, very consistent.
All right, big 3rd and 4 early in the game. And out of the gun, here's Flutman, a blitz. He throws on a slant route. Nice leaping catch for Jared Hall. And looks like he has enough for the first down.
Tell you what, I was impressed with that throw. That was a rocket coming off of his arm. Very impressive. Throws the ball about 13 times a game with 8 completions. And he's gained 1,700 yards throwing the ball. 9 interceptions, 23 touchdowns.
Here's
good
Flutman's
mechanics right
toss.
here. He had to hesitate just a little bit because I thought initially he was going to the slant route, and he pulled it back.
So first down, 34-yard line. Flutman taking it himself. He can also run the ball big time, but met by a brick wall of a Trojan defense.
And again, Sam, that first down for these teams is so crucial. You've got to get some yardage. You've got to get at least 3 or 4 yards on first down to be able to go to that game plan and do some things as far as running or throwing the ball.
And that first down yielded nothing. So 2nd and 10 for a Chicago Christian offense. Averages 36 points a game. Flutman to Jaeger, and Jaeger's got some space across to the 27. It'll set up a nice 3rd and short.
That was close to getting busted right there. It was a pretty good tackle to bring him down, or he was gone into the end zone on that one. Now, again, you're looking here at 2 downs to pick up about 3 yards.
So 2 down territory?
It certainly is.
Okay. 2 downs for 3 yards. Out of the gun with Jaeger behind him. The look at Flutman. The hand off to the right side. Here goes Jaeger. Jaeger is yanked down in the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago Christian.
What a nice run right there for about 27 yards into the end zone. Kenny Jaeger, he's a good football player. He averages 138 yards a game, and that's a pretty good statistic for a smaller school. Well done here, well executed, gets to the outside, but the key to that run right there was the blocking downfield by Eddie Van Dellen, the wide receiver. He stayed on the block. Oftentimes these kids will hit somebody and then they'll stand around, but you got to stay on the block till you hear the whistle, and that's what led to that touchdown.
Extra point number 66 on the season for the senior Jared Hall, and for a team that has never been here before under a first-year head coach. It's a picture-perfect start for Chicago Christian. The Knights are looking to go where no team has gone before. And Kenny Jaeger looking to carry him.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
All right, let's go. I'll strap for the kids, and you get something for the dog.
Sounds good. Let's do this.
Whether you're shopping for gifts or something for yourself,
Don't forget toys for the dog.
rush in for Black Friday deals at Menards that everyone will love. Because when they're gone, they're gone.
Save big money at Menards.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by SIU Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities.
Our keys to the game brought to you by Southern Illinois University Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities. What do you have for me?
Well, when you look at the Maroa here, the key that they want to make sure is that they get the ball to their skill players. They have 3 players that have, one has 76 catches, a couple others have 50, so they want to have the big plays, get them the football, and of course, on the other hand, for Chicago Christian, when you got a team that loves to throw the football all over the field, force them to run, and the only way you can do that is if your secondary is disciplined, keeps their reads, doesn't jump on a scrambling quarterback. That's the key to the game for them, is the secondary is very important against a passing team.
Thank you, Professor McInerney. And so far, a perfect start for a team that's never been here. First-year head coach C.J. Cesario coming over from a powerhouse in Mount Carmel. Looking to guide Chicago Christian to a title. Off a little squib kick, quick return as Josh Crawford stopped Caden Birmingham, and now we get the Maroa-Forsyth offense. Take 2. Let's meet them. Starting lineups are presented by OSF. It's an offensive machine led by the junior quarterback, Ryan Shepard. We got the Smith and Grant and Zach are phenomenal. Here's the running back, Canton Wilson, off the left tackle. Nice little 5-yard gain. It's been pretty run-heavy so far from Maroa.
Well, so far because they want to set up the pass. But again, we mentioned that the flags are really blowing hard. So it's going to be tough for the passing game. Now, they want to go a lot vertical and horizontal. They got great skilled kids. But if you set up the run, that's going to open up the pass.
Wind right now, 25 miles an hour. And off a little misdirection. A nice little chunk for a first down. Harrison Yonker. Or excuse me, Mitch Williams there, and he is down now. Got the first down, but at the expense of his right knee.
Yeah, that tackler came right up and popped him right in the knee with the helmet.
It's a brutal injury. Certainly hoping for the best for Mitch, who is Maroa-Forsyth's all-time yardage and receptions leader.
Just to give you an idea, Sam, what they're capable of doing on offense for Maroa. Offensively, they run the ball about 20 times a game, which is pretty good. They average about 133 yards on that, and that's a little over 6 yards per carry. As far as throwing the football, they throw the ball about 23 times a game for 17 completions for 279 yards. That's about a little over 16 yards per completion. Total yardage, they run the ball. They have about 43 plays a game for 413 yards. And mathematically, that breaks down to about 9.5 yards per play, which is amazing statistic. They average about 46 points a game.
An offensive machine, but this is one of their best players. Senior Mitch Williams just
helmet
took
right
that
on the knee.
And,
right there.
Oof. Flutman, the quarterback, who is also a top defensive back for Chicago Christian, he was on that tackle. So Maroa-Forsyth will certainly be monitoring the status of Mitch Williams. Now a 1st and 10. Shepard airs it out. He's got Grant Smith, but a little too much air.
Now that was a crosswind, and that ball just got up in the air and kind of took off on him.
Starting lineups, as always, presented by OSF. And let's meet the Knights of Chicago Christian, who have their hands full today.
Well, it doesn't look like it after that first series, but you're right. Maroa's been here. They've had a great year.
Brock Sperling in the middle, as coach says, one word for him, beast. And he was right in the thick of this stop. Canton Wilson stymied for just one.
This, to me, is always so much fun to see these players, and with Chicago Christian having 9 players that go both ways. And how do they hold up physically? We'll see. It's awful early yet, but sometimes they're in great condition.
Big number 59, he is one of those 9. And now 3rd and 9, Shepard.
Screen.
A little dump. Smith is swallowed up. Just a yard on the gain, and again, it's 4th down for Trojans.
What you like to teach your defensive lineman is, if it's too easy, in other words, that pass rush for you was too easy, something's up, and it's going to be a screen. Normally, the rule that I used to give my players was, if it goes away, you go away. So if I'm coming across and those linemen made it easy, I get away from them and look for the offensive lineman for the screen pass.
First punt of the game. Here's Aiden Williams. Averages 36 yards per punt. And this one will be a bit shy of that as it rolls out at the 22. Sunny, cold state championship Friday here at Hancock Stadium. And so far, so good if you're a Chicago Christian fan. 7-0 halfway through the first.
Coughing and throat feeling sore? We've got medication to get you out the door. Earache, pink eye, bug bite, or rash? Our wonderful staff will treat you in a flash.
What about sprains, strains, and minor fractures too?
Don't worry. Our x-rays reveal what's hidden from view. Need care after 9, 10, or 11? Our virtual care's got you 24/7. OSF on-call urgent care, in person or virtual. We're always there.
We're going to need more fuel. renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum. We can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
Back at Hancock Stadium on Championship Friday. Chicago Christian by 7 right now, and let's check how they got here. The Road to Normal is brought to you by the Illinois State Police. Integrity, service, pride. Well, Maroa is not far from here, just 35 miles south, down in Macon County. So quick little bus ride for the Trojans. A little further trek from Palos Heights in Cook County, just outside of Chicago. The town of Palos Heights, 120 miles from here. The road to normal for many last night after a Thanksgiving feast.
Good shot of Coach Cesario right there. Mount Carmel graduate.
His first year as head coach. His running back, Jaeger, a bobble on the snap, was able to pounce on it real quick, but near disaster.
Little history to Coach Cesario. He played for Frank Lenti, the legend. You can see right here, he looks at the cut, but he didn't have his arms down on the ball completely. But Coach Cesario coached with George Lynch, but he played for the legendary Frank Lenti at Mount Carmel, who had 16 title appearances here and won 7 titles. Or excuse me, that was Chris Andriano, won 7 titles. But Frank Lenti had a condo down here because he was here so many times and was so very successful with the Mount Carmel program.
A good investment then, as Jaeger bustles through for about 2.
Actually, I used to tease Coach Lenti about getting a condo down here because he was always in these state championship games, that I told him he ought to look into real estate.
He listened to you?
No.
So that's a mistake.
Why would you listen to me? I should have been listening to him. He's the one that was down here 16
times. Well, the first time for Cesario, good so far, but his team with a 3rd and 8. Back deep in their own territory. Flutman off to the left side. It's caught at the 32. And just short, Tyree Davis, the senior tight end. So decision time.
I don't think so.
No? Punt it? Go for it?
Well, it's short. You know, it's not that much, but gee whiz, they're going to go for it. You're going to give up an awful lot of field position. They might just try and draw them offside, one thing, too. Try and draw them off.
Let's see. They're going for it. Flutman finds his man at the 37-yard line. And a gutsy move pays off as he finds Teague.
Perfect example right there, Sam, of they're saying, look, we're down here now. Let's go for the win. Let's go for it. I mean, that was a crucial call right there. If they had given the ball up to Maroa on the 35-yard line, a lot of confidence in this passing game to do that.
5-yard gain. Connection from Flutman to Teague. Now a toss to Jaeger, and he powers his way through to the 50. Back-to-back first downs, and now they start to hum.
A lot of confidence in him after that picking up that first down on 4th down. A lot of team confidence. And the other part of it is they put a lot of confidence in that offensive line. They did a nice job here to pick up this run, but on that 4th down play, to be able to say to yourself, okay, we got a good offensive line. We're going to believe in them that they can do a little quick pass blocking.
And a gain of 13 for Jaeger, who's got 6 carries for 50 already. Out of the gun, Flutman. Little toss. And stuffed in the backfield. Absolutely no room to run for Caden Boersma.
Took too long, just strung it out. Nice job by the corner, stringing it. You want to do is string it all the way to the sideline. Use that sideline as your 12th defender. Force them to turn it back up inside. In most cases, young players just want to try and outrun everybody to the edge. And when you're playing against a good defensive team that takes the angles, it's not going to happen.
If nothing else, Maroa-Forsyth, disciplined, strong under Coach Jostis. So 2nd and 12 after a loss of 2. So you go right back to Jaeger. And he picks up a quick 10.
He's impressive. Quick feet.
His coach describes him as an explosive little firecracker.
Well, you can see that right here. Good cutback right there. I mean, this play was designed to go inside, but he set it up by making it look like it was going to go outside. That strung out the linebacker, and then he cut back up inside. Excellent run.
And the 8th play of the drive is a 3rd and 1. Back to Jaeger. Why not? First down.
Good job so far on these opening drives by that front five of Chicago Christian. Vanderwerken, Sperling, Sisk, Stessema, and Vanderstreet. You got to have a good offensive line, and that's what they're doing right there. Not real big, but very effective.
And remember, so many of these guys, 9 of them, you see them on offense now. You'll also see them on defense. And one of them is the quarterback. Christian Flutman is maybe their best defensive back. Leads them in picks. On a 1st and 10, Flutman takes it himself. And Flutman has some daylight. The quarterback into the red zone, into the end zone.
Wow.
All night. It's a 39-yard score for Christian Flutman.
Really impressive with that run. You talk about a young man that's got quickness, good feet, good cutback. Does a nice job throwing the football, but I'm impressed with him running the football.
The cutback.
Right there, gets downfield. You can see the cutback. Good job downfield by the wide receivers, but a good cutback in the open field to get into the end zone.
The extra point for Hall is blocked. What a low kick. Sort of an easy block for the Trojans, and we'll see if that comes back to bite the Knights. But so far, nothing is biting the Knights. 13 zip, and for a team that has never been here before, they're playing with a lot of moxie.
Well, that first drive was crucial where they scored, but coming back, the big play to me was that 4th down play. But here's a nice cutback by Flutman. Shows you what a good athlete he is. But when they went for 4th and 1 on about the 36-yard line, I'm thinking, well, oh, boy, that's a gutsy call. And apparently they know why they were going to do it.
Yeah, they picked up 5, and in all, 9 plays go for 77 yards in just 4.5 minutes. You're a player down there. What do you take from your head coach when you see him backed up his own 32, 4th and short, and you go for it?
Well, obviously a lot of confidence in your offensive linemen and your running backs, but you're also got the confidence where he probably told them, look, this is the first time we've ever been down here. Last game of the year, we're going to let it all hang out. We're going to take some chances. That's how you win state championships. You take a few chances. That's exactly what they did, and right now it's paying off.
Monitoring Mitch Williams, the senior wideout, who has rewritten the history books for Maroa-Forsyth. Looks like he has a brace on his right knee, and I know we'll get an update on him shortly. Off a little squib kick. The return goes out to the 40, courtesy of Caden Birmingham. And let's send it down to Casey, who's got some insight on number 1 and 1.
Yeah, Sam, that's right. As you mentioned, trainers were putting a brace on Mitch Williams' right knee, the Trojan wide receiver. They don't have a ton of details right now, but he was wincing in pain on the sidelines, trying to walk and stretch out that right knee. He is expected to be back in this game.
And as Casey says it, speaking it into existence, there's Mitch in the sunshine. Probably not 100%, but if he's out there, he's dangerous. So Maroa-Forsyth, 46 points a game this season. They've yet to score. On a little end around. Dragged down. Chicago Christian's defense continues to impress. Nothing for Zach Smith.
That was a good job of coming up. They're showing a lot of discipline right there by coming up that quickly, especially against a team that loves to throw the ball. But I think what they're doing is they got a free safety back there that he's kind of playing middle linebacker and center field for him.
Chicago Christian's never been here. They're not playing like it. dominating the Class 2A title game.
Premier Dental up Decatur, where happiness begins with a smile.
Hurry in for more of Macy's best Black Friday deals now. The comfy Miriam sofa, only $4.99. The Gallagher leather sofa, $7.99. And get up to 50% off a new mattress, plus a free adjustable base. Now at Macy's.
Bob Riding's Lincoln in Decatur has one of the largest selections of Lincoln inventory in Illinois, with over 100 Lincolns available, like this 2024 Grand Touring Hybrid Corsair. Get the best of both worlds with gas and electric for max power and gas economy. And right now, priced at invoice plus 0% for 60 months, plus a $3,750 tax credit right at time of purchase. Come see why we're Central Illinois' premier Lincoln dealer with over 3,000 five-star customer reviews and recommendations. Across from Caterpillar and at BobRidingsDecatur.com.
Welcome to MedServ Equipment Corps, your trusted home for all your medical equipment and supply needs. At MedServ, we're more than a store. We're your partner in health and mobility. Need a lift? Our comfortable lift chairs and state-of-the-art power wheelchairs and scooters redefine mobility, ensuring you enjoy life to the fullest. Experience the freedom you deserve with our top-of-the-line power scooters. MedServ Equipment Corps, where quality meets compassion. Empower your independence.
The season of giving is here.
Join us for the WCIA 3 Toy Drive, benefiting Toys for Tots.
Donate new unwrapped toys or cash donations at our backlot or our Danville drop-off site.
The WCIA 3 Toy Drive, Thursday, December 5th from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Premier Dental up Decatur, where happiness begins with a smile.
Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
Back at the Illinois State Championships, and Chicago Christian here for the first time and playing like seasoned vets. Well, let's go back into the record books. 50 years ago, St. Teresa won the Class 2A title right here, 15-6 win over Alexis.
They had a dominating year that year. They had a couple of years where they were the team to beat down in the central southern Illinois area. And great program at that time, and then it's kind of gone by the wayside a little bit. I mean, they haven't been as effective as they were then, but during the beginning of the state playoffs, they were something to watch.
They won it again the next year, and then again a few generations later in 2022. Maroa-Forsyth on offense to start the second. Shepard airs it out and batted down by the quarterback Jared Hall. So far, Ryan Shepard just 7 yards in the air, and this is a quarterback who has the all-time passing record for Maroa.
Good job here by the safety coming across. You'll see him at the top of your screen right there coming in. Ball thrown a little behind, and the wind is a factor for that because it's blowing from left to right. And it's blowing pretty good, so it's going to have an effect on some of those longer passes.
So 3rd and long, and he's on the run. Back about 15 yards and just throws it away. 3 possessions, nothing to show for.
Good pressure there by Chicago Christian. In that first quarter, Chicago Christian had 122 total yards, 6 first downs. They averaged 8 yards per play. On the other hand, Maroa on first down had only one play for first down, and they only averaged 2 yards per play. You talk about a dramatic difference for a team that is very explosive.
And now this explosive team will have to punt it. It's amazing how little they've been able to do as Aiden Williams sends it. Little roller, Trojan friendly roll to the 22. I know this isn't how you imagined the game started.
I don't think anybody imagined the game starting like this. But you got to give Christian credit. They looked really effective, not only the running back, but the quarterback. And they're playing good defense. I mean, you can't ask for any more for a team that's has never been here before.
Not only have they never been to the state title before, but they're playing the same team that ended their season last year, first round of the playoffs. It was a 42-6 win for Maroa-Forsyth. over Chicago Christian. And both teams with quite a few returners. As Jaeger goes to work. And Jaeger just for 2, make it 5. That's the kind of running back Kenny Jaeger is.
And that's what they need to do on first down. They really have to move the chains. I can't emphasize how important first down is, especially in high school football. Good effort right here. Getting outside, turning it up inside, keeping those legs going. Terrific effort.
Could have been stuffed at the line. Instead, 6 yards. Set up a second and manageable. 2 touchdown drives so far for the Knights of Chicago Christian. And it goes back to their workhorse running back, who is just about a yard shy of the first down.
And workhorse is a good term. During the 13 games, he's averaged 17 carries per game, but has contributed 138 yards of rushing, which is pretty good. And he scored 27 touchdowns this year, so he's a good, active high school running back.
And he goes for 8 yards a carry, so he's efficient. We'll see if they go to him here. 3rd and short. They're 4 of 5 so far on 3rd downs. It's Jaeger.
Ooh.
He pushes through, and a huge push from that Maroa-Forsyth D-line.
It's close.
Might have to bring out the chain gang. Saw Tanner Jacobs, Canton Wilson on the tackle.
This is the same scenario, Sam, that they had initially when they went for it on 4th down from about the 34-yard line.
4th again. And again, looks like CJ Cesario wants to go for it, but before maybe buying himself some decision time, he calls time. Last time was at the 32. Now it's at his own 30. And a 4th and about a foot. We'll get it for you on the other side. Right now, stepping away. Crucial moment in the ball game when we come back.
Coughing and throat feeling sore? We've got medication to get you out the door. Earache, pink eye, bug bite, or rash? Our wonderful staff will treat you in a flash.
What about sprains, strains, and minor fractures too?
Don't worry. Our x-rays reveal what's hidden from view. Need care after 9, 10, or 11? Our virtual care's got you 24/7. OSF on-call urgent care. In person or virtual. We're always there.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum. We can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
Some smooth jazz to welcome you back, and decision time means go for it. For the second time, backed up Chicago Christian goes.
Well, the thing is, right now, it's he's only got a yard, but when you're not under center where he's at, he's actually got 6 yards to go to get that first down because he's in the spread formation. It's not like a quarterback sneak. You got further to go here.
4th and a foot, and Fluman's got it again. CJ Cesario says, I'll go for it, and again, it pays off.
You talk to different coaches, and everybody's got a different philosophy about this. They talk about, well, you run from the spread. He almost overran right there his blockers because they pulled the guard and tackle. It was a little counter play and power play behind those guard and tackles, but he almost got there before they did. But there's always that dimension you talk about. Well, he's not under center, so it's not a yard he's got to gain. It's usually 6 or 7. A lot of different philosophies about that.
CJ's philosophy looking good so far in the state title game, and a little slant route. And just continuing to fight. How about the movement on the feet of Nico Griggs for the extra 5?
I think that ball actually was tipped before it got to him also. Great effort, though, by Griggs. It's 180 pounds, 6'2", nice target to go to. There's the...
Yeah, a little tip.
Yeah, a little bit. Good catch. Good effort afterwards. And this is why they're playing in the state championship game. It seems to be getting great efforts from all of their players. And when you got 9 to 10 kids going both ways, you need to have them.
Fluteman's a perfect 6 of 6 through the air. On second and short, he goes back to Jaeger. And Jaeger has a first down. 8 first downs for Chicago Christian. Just 1 for Maroa-Forsyth.
I'm really impressed with Jaeger. I mean, he gets to that line of scrimmage really quick. It's not a big offensive line. It's only about 219 pounds average, but he's really quick to the line of scrimmage, which means they don't have to sustain their block as long. As long as they get on somebody, he's there quick enough so that they don't have to overpower people.
It's a balanced offense, and it's one that right now has owned time of possession. Here goes Jaeger again, and it's a decent chunk of about 4. He's got 13 carries, going for nearly 80 yards. His coach says he's the best running back in all of 2A. Yeah, a lot of coaches, they'll talk a big game about their guys. Of course, you want to pump them up, but I know you're loving 20 in purple.
I like any back that runs the way he does. Great effort, good quickness. Takes more than one tackler to bring him down. That's the big thing to me. How much does it, after the first contact, how is it for him after that?
This one, he had nothing. Swallowed up by the interior D-line. But meanwhile, Chicago Christian just eating a ton of clock. They've doubled the Trojans in time of possession. And now a 3rd and 7. These fans coming down from Palos Heights, about a 2.5-hour drive. The day after Thanksgiving, they're freezing. Feels like 5 down there, but victory will warm you quickly. On 3rd down, Fluteman. There's a flag as Jaeger makes a nice catch, coughs it up. Grant Smith pops on it for Maroa-Forsyth. But we got to wait for the penalty.
I think we probably got a hold.
A lot of action. The flag, the tremendous catch, the fumble, the recovery. And the officials have to sort it out. The first time we're hearing from David Givens, our lead official.
They'll turn it down and take possession.
And the Maroa-Forsyth fans are sensing what they're about to hear.
It's like a punt, but you don't want to give up possession, and it's not the end of the world that they got it down here.
Penalty declined, and our mustachioed lead official makes it official. 1st and 10 for Maroa. Their own 39. I'd like to see you with a mustache like that.
No way. I went to Fenwick High School. I was also in the Marine Corps. No facial hair.
You look good clean-shaven. We'll keep it that way. Here's a run up the middle. Canton Wilson burrows his way to the 42. Gain of 3.
First down, crucial for everybody. Even a passing team. They might want to run the ball on first down to set up the pass for second and third downs.
And looking down there, I don't see Mitch Williams, who Casey kept us posted on, was hobbling around. They put a brace on his right knee after he took a helmet to the knee. And here's a throw to Grant Smith that it drops. Interestingly, it was Aiden Williams who made the throw. The backup quarterback and lefty on a trick play as Shepard now comes back in.
That's probably the most difficult catch a receiver's going to make, as opposed to being further downfield with different angles with the ball coming at you. That was really a very difficult catch, which wasn't made, so it wasn't a catch.
3rd down time. They're 0 for 3 today. And with 8 yards to gain, here's the screen. Wilson is rocked. Just a couple yards as Teague tackles him. And the Knights say
And they're right. They didn't make it.
Did he cough it up at the end? Well, Wilson's very slow to get up. Some of the Knights seem to be thinking that they got possession. I think just saying he was shy.
And he's limping a little bit also. Another sound, fundamental tackle. Very well done.
There you see the ball came out at the very end. I think Wilson might have been down, but maybe good reason for some of the Knights to say, hey, we got it. As punt number 3 is booted by Williams, very short. But it takes a Trojan-friendly hop and a skip to the 21. So pretty much disaster so far for Maroa-Forsyth. No points. They've given up 13. And 2 of their best players have gotten hobbled around. Not how they drew it up. For the Knights, it's been a dream.
Every year, the Whiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Whiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
Home is more than a place. It's full of the people and moments that matter most. Providing for loved ones, expanding your horizons, or simply living the life you love. With all you have to protect, choose insurance you can count on so you can experience more of what you live for. Country Financial. Experience more.
All Knights so far in the Class 2A state title game. Sam Brief, Jack McInerney, and our wonderful crew with you here on IHSA TV. We got a loaded schedule to come. Still 2 more games after this one. And the first one was a treat. How about a 57 burger for Althoff Catholic, led by De'Air Hill Jr., who scored 7 touchdowns.
Tell me that again.
7 touchdowns.
That's hard to believe.
Set a state championship record for touchdowns and points accounted for, with over 50. So Chicago Christian with it, and their workhorse running back, Kenny Jager, across to about the 25. The story of game 1 was the running game, and the story of game 2, Jack, still running.
Well, when you have conditions like this, that can lead towards that kind of a situation. But both teams, even though one of them's a stronger passing team, they want to run the ball. The conditions are dictating that by the way the wind is blowing. It's a very strong wind.
126 rush yards for Chicago Christian. 25-mile-an-hour wind they're all dealing with. Here's Jager. Off the right tackle, Jager with his spin. Down to the 33. Which might be enough for the first, and it is. First down, number 9. Maroa has 1.
I hate to be redundant, which I am often, but I am really impressed with the running game and certainly with Kenny Jager. Gee, he's a tough kid. Great quickness.
Explosive little firecracker is how his coach describes him. First-year head coach C.J. Cesario. Fake the toss, air it out. Down the right sideline, just out of the reach of Hall. Good coverage from Owen, and that is the first incompletion for Flutman on his 8th pass.
Very good coverage, right with him. Stayed in his hip. They want to get the ball with the good fake there. You could see how the secondary and linebackers tried to slide. They wanted to get one-to-one coverage right here, which they got. But just a good job right there defensively by Owen. What he did is he just ran with him hip to hip, and he didn't turn back until he saw what you do is you read the receiver's eyes. When he starts putting his hands up and his eyes start looking back, that's when you start turning and looking for the football.
Back to the run game, back to Jager, who this time is stymied. Troy Pulliam dragged him down. 136 tackles and 3 sacks on the season for Pulliam, who was right on that.
This is a longer situation than Christian has been in. They've been in 4th down scenarios that are a little closer than this.
So 3rd and 9. It's been such an efficient offense. Their first state title game ever. Big play. Into the flat. Eddie Van Dellen has nowhere to go. And now I think they have to send it back to the Trojans.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it now, especially with the time on the clock. Get a decent kick here. Maroa's taking a timeout, which is a smart move. They want to get decent field position here. I can guarantee when they get the field position, they're going to be going vertical to get that ball down the field.
Casey's got something for us down in the frozen tundra. What's up, Casey?
Thanks, Sam. 3 simple letters make up the identity of this Chicago Christian team. It's TPW, meaning tough people win. Coach CJ Cesario is constantly reminding his team that tough people rise to the physical demands, and says his group has bought in early to that identity and that ideology this season. It's tough to argue that, considering in his first year as head coach, this group is in that state title game. Cesario said these guys believe week in and week out that tough people win, and he's not once questioned their toughness. How about that, guys, for a strong coach-to-player connection in year 1?
TPW. Printed on a T-shirt. I know the toughness has been what's impressed you today, Jack.
Well, both sides of the football. They're extremely well coached. And the thing is, when you have this many players, 9 to 10 players going both ways, it's tough to coach that because you got to really be organized at practice as far as the breakdowns defensively and offensively. And it's not like the bigger schools where they got 12 coaches. He doesn't have that many coaches to do that, so you got to give him a lot of credit.
First punt for Jared Hall. It's a spiral that only goes to the 46, so just juicy field position for a Maroa-Forsyth offense that steamrolled opponents all year. Today they have struggled, though, to the tune of no points and only 26 yards.
Well, again, you can talk about what is crucial in a game, but this particular series with 2:30 left in the clock could be crucial.
Sensational quarterback Ryan Shepard. He's back out there after an extremely productive regular season. It's been a struggle and continues to be so today. 5 for 9, 9 yards. That intended for Zach Smith.
Part of that struggle, there's 2 reasons for it. Pretty good coverage by the secondary of Chicago Christian, but also the wind factor. It's kind of blustery. You don't know which direction it's going to be going in when you throw that ball, and that's been a factor. Sometimes it's been thrown high, other times it's been thrown behind the receiver.
Now Shepard airs it out deep down the left sideline and just past the fingertips of Grant Smith. So 2 passes intended for a Smith with nothing to show for.
This will be a nice stop for Chicago Christian if they can do it. Going into halftime with this kind of a lead. And you know that they're the underdog. Good route right here. Had a step or 2 on the defender, but the ball again, because of the wind, just a little bit overthrown.
Huge 3rd and 10. Dump into the flat, and Wilson lets it slip through his fingers.
I think he could have taken a little bit off of that throw.
It was a bullet, and a frozen bullet, that fell at the feet of Canton Wilson. So a punt.
Wilson there is a little upset with himself, but you got to take a little bit off this throw, especially in these conditions. Good stop by Chicago Christian right here. Going into halftime, a real nice stop defensively.
With incredible field position. 0 yards gained, and what an incredible punt.
Wow.
Down to the foot line. Tip your cap to Aiden Williams.
Now, if anybody on the defensive line would have put their hands up, somebody would have blocked this. And I don't care how tall he was or how short he was. This ball was just barely across the line of scrimmage, but they got the roll down to the 1-yard line.
This is a line drive and then a ground ball for about 20 yards. Perfect.
And nobody back to receive the punt there. And a good coaching reason why there wasn't, because they didn't want to take a chance on muffing the ball or having anything go wrong here. But this is a tough one right now with still 2:14 left on the clock.
And from deep in his own end zone, Flutman takes the snap. Jaeger squirms his way to the 5. Just looking for some breathing room.
And he got it. That's exactly what they needed, was that kind of a run right up the middle, nothing fancy.
So if you're the Knights, just content to run, let the clock bleed, you'll go to halftime 13-0.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. But the key is right now is to get this ball out of here.
Now letting that clock tick. Probably will use all of these 15 seconds.
I'm surprised Maroa hasn't called a timeout before.
They've got one of them in their pocket. And here comes a blitz, picked up decently well, but an incompletion at the feet of Van Dellen.
I think that was tipped also, Sam.
Crucially, the clock stops.
That's something you really don't want to do in this kind of situation.
Are you surprised they didn't just hand it to Jaeger again?
Yeah, I am. Because as you mentioned, the clock doesn't stop, and you don't want to pick here. You want to kind of play it safe and conservative.
The first down would be huge. 3rd and 5. Line to gain is at the 11. Here goes Jaeger, and he gets barely to the 6. So Maroa smartly calls its final timeout, and they'll have great field position with about 90 seconds.
And in this situation here, what you got to be concerned about is, because of the wind, oftentimes you forget about the long snap. The snapper has difficulty because if he's snapping into the wind, you know, that's one issue. Sometimes they'll bounce him. And if he's snapping with the wind, sometimes it'll go over the head of the punter because it just sails on him. So there's a lot of factors involved with special teams when you're especially in a situation like this.
Well, Maroa-Forsyth knows how to pull one out. They'll need a comeback if they're going to win the state title today. How about what they did in the quarterfinal against Quincy Notre Dame? Let's take a trip into the time machine a couple of weeks. They were down a touchdown, under a minute to go, and Ryan Shepard with a strike down the field. Another one to Zach Smith for the touchdown. But then the decision, extra point or go for 2. They said we'll go for 2. Back to Smith into the end zone. Hold on for the win. That's why they're here.
And that's why they work on that all the time in practice. That's what they do. That's their game. That's what they've hung their hat on all year long as the passing game, and it paid dividends for them. And we'll have to see if it does that today.
Today, 9 yards through the air. As Flutman is out there on 4th down, he kicks it to the quarterback with the drop kick.
Good bounce.
And it takes a Chicago-friendly hop to the 47. And it'll be 1:15 for Maroa-Forsyth to try to salvage something, anything, out of this first half. Traditionally, it's a team that loves to start fast. They scored 400 points in the first half this season. So far, 0.
And you got to give credit where credit is due, and Chicago Christian's defense has done a nice job. Combination of Chicago Christian's defense and the weather, the wind, has helped out. It's kind of been a 12th defender for Chicago Christian.
Small school in 2A might need that 12th man. There's Flutman lining up as a DB now. Shepard a bullet caught by Smith on the slant route. They've got no timeout, so the clock's going to keep on ticking as he's called down shy of the first down. Under a minute to go, and Trojans have to move. This is when you need your pass game. Shepard looking left. Shepard has nothing. And a little dump off. Downfield coverage for the Knights. Sensational.
Now, this is when you see the difference between a passing game where the quarterback has a lot of moxie about the situation. Now, sometimes a younger quarterback that's not that experienced throwing the football would have probably tried to run that ball or whatever. We have a flag here.
The near side judge has given a warning to the sideline, to the Maroa-Forsyth sideline. I think for being too close to him as he was yelling at the head coach, Josh Jostis.
And part of that, too, is sometimes he's getting a lot of vocal harassment by some of the coaches, and you'll call that particular one to let him know, you know, I'm not going to put up with that nonsense.
It's a shush.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Just a warning. So 3rd and 3. Here's Shepard. Shepard's got all sorts of time, but now flushed out. Sperling hunting him down, and a dangerous throw goes through a few sets of hands. Smith, the intended wideout.
And I think Nico Griggs was down there to bat that ball away.
The middle linebacker was flushed. Watch 24.
Here with 38 seconds left.
Out of the gun, low snap. Shepard feeling the heat. Shepard finds nothing.
Great defensive stop by Chicago Christian. That's the way what you want to end it. I mean, they've played extremely well in this first half. And they played, surprisingly, the offense, I mean, they scored real early. But what's impressed me also is the defense. The secondary, great discipline right here. We talked about that in the open. That was one of our keys, is that the defensive secondary discipline that you need to have. And it's tough when you have a scrambling quarterback, because usually the secondary will break down. They lose sight of the receivers because they're watching the quarterback, and that's where big plays happen.
No big plays for Maroa-Forsyth. Only 1 first down and 33 total yards. In the Class 2A state title game, Chicago Christian, who's never played in this game, is dominating it. Flutman looking to air it out, and he just chucks it down. Could be intentional grounding.
Smart play. He had set up a throwback or a screen, and they jumped on that. And he was smart enough not to throw it to them and scrambled out.
Just tossed it at his feet.
What a smart play by, that's really a moxie, knows the game, knows the situations, football player.
Flutman's a senior. His coach said he built up a ton of confidence this winter. Now, that confidence pays off. On 2nd down, Flutman. Flush to his right. Flutman. Across his body, ball's in the air, and it is caught. Nico Griggs has it. And in a miracle.
Wow.
The Knights pull a touchdown out of their hats.
Does that term miracle have to do with Chicago Christian? But you're right. Unbelievable. 15 seconds left on the clock. That ball was bounced around. Absolutely unbelievable. Wow. Is there destiny here?
This might be a team of destiny. 59 yards from Flutman to a bunch of tips to Nico Griggs.
The ball should have been intercepted. A lot of should-have-beens on that particular play.
And now we'll go for the 2-point conversion. Flutman in the backfield with Jager. Flutman finds Griggs.
Oh, what a catch.
And the same man who scored the 6 tacks on the 2. And we must watch it again. This ball was destined to be intercepted. Let's see how it happened.
We got to really see how many tips were occurred here.
Let's count the tips.
This was like almost a Hail Mary pass where somebody got behind the secondary. What a great job of keeping it alive. There's one that hit. Bounce. Oh, gosh.
And then Griggs to the house. TPW, tough people win.
And Griggs is also the guy that made that big defensive play in the secondary over on the sideline that forced the ball to be turned over. Wow. What a play. Only in high school football. I shouldn't say that. The Bears should complain about that. Great
We've
catch
seen
right
some
there.
crazy things. And tack it on the 2 to make it 21-0. Griggs was the 6th different receiver that Christian Flutman is connected with. He's 9 of 12, 98 yards and a touchdown. And now 21-0 approaching halftime. I mean, sure, that play felt a little lucky, a little fluky, but make no mistake, Chicago Christian has dominated every aspect of this football game.
What a play to go into halftime with for a decided underdog. You know, most people say, well, they're 12-1. How are they an underdog? Well, because Maroa is 12-1, but they've been here many, many times before. It's a veteran team, a veteran coach.
Maroa, 10-time state title game appearances. Josh Jostis, their 25th year head coach. He's been here 8 times. He's won the state title game twice. And he's going against a team with a first-year head coach that's never been at this level. And they are just crushing him.
Amazing.
A year ago, CJ Cesario was an assistant coach, coaching sophomores at Mount Carmel. Year before that, he was down in some different jobs, far from home in Tennessee and Georgia. Now he's back home in Chicago, and now 2 quarters away from becoming a state champ.
Well, that coaching tree that he has gone through has been very, very beneficial, and he's obviously taken advantage of it, playing for the legendary Frank Lenti at Mount Carmel, and then coaching with Jordan Lynch, who took over for Frank Lenti. I mean, that's just some great lineage.
So the kickoff went out of bounds, and you can either take the ball at the 35 or force a re-kick from 5 yards back. So Maroa-Forsyth opts for the re-kick. But on a windy day, you need someone to hold it up. This ball takes a Chicago Christian friendly hop to the 13. And no return for D'Angelo Owen. I think the Trojans just want to get to halftime.
I agree 100%, but I'm also looking at some mannerisms by Maroa. They just kind of look, some of the stuff that they do. I mean, here's just, you take it, I got it. No, you got it, I take it. And, but just something about how they're hanging their heads, how they're getting on and off the field. Maroa was kind of in shock. And I don't blame him, but it's just got a different look about him.
I don't blame them for being in shock. And they'll take a knee into the locker room. Chicago Christian, never been at this stage. A first-year coach. Who are they? Well, they're up 21-0. Completely dominating the Class 2A state title game.
Now the key for him at halftime is let's not let it go to our heads. Let's put up 21 more points in the second half.
His job is to settle things down, just keep things moving, and I cannot wait to hear what CJ Cesario has to say. And he's standing by in the middle of the field with our own Casey Standahar. Let's send it down.
Coach, first let's talk about that last big offensive play. How do Nico Griggs and your guys just stay ready for anything?
Just in a complete laser focus and toughness. They're resilient. Anytime there's an opportunity to execute, they just seem to get it done. They're incredible young men. Yes.
Yeah. When it matters most. Yeah. How would you assess how they've done that so far?
Yeah, everything to this point, as best as we've prepared, we've executed to the level that we've wanted to, but we have to do it for a second half. Maroa-Forsyth is an incredible program. I expect them to come out really hungry. We've got to keep our foot on the gas.
You've held them scoreless through the first half. How do you maintain that level of pressure?
Yeah, it's going to be the maturity of our seniors that are really doing everything that we're asking them to do. There's a toughness and a grittiness in them that I think is relentless, and they're not going to let up. So I expect the exact same thing of execution defensive-wise for our team in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you, Casey.
All right, let's check in with Edgy and Marshall. We're going to take another look at that last touchdown for Chicago Christian.
And Casey, why would we not? The play of the day so far. Hot potatoes, if that's what you want to call it. All that matters is Nico Griggs came down with it is a 21-0 Chicago Christian halftime lead. Marshall Harris, Edgy, Tim O'Halloran back here with the studio. I can't believe what we've just witnessed in that this team that is a first-time appearance in the state title game going up against a traditional powerhouse and Maroa-Forsyth. It's been all Chicago Christian.
It has been all Chicago Christian. And I mean, you talk about it being your day. It's your day, Chicago Christian. So far in the first half, you hold a Maroa offense to 33 yards total offense. No one saw that coming. And they're the veterans. Maroa's the veterans. Chicago Christian playing like they're there every other year.
All right, the Knights will show you exactly how they got out to this 3-touchdown lead. That's when halftime comes your way on the other side.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
You know what it's like to watch a winning team. Now it's your turn to be a part of one. The Illinois State Police is recruiting for our next cadet classes, and you could be our MVP. Protect the public, help those in need, and make a lasting impact in your community. Our mission, your future, higher purpose, higher pay. Starting pay is at $90,000 with incredible benefits package, including a take-home squad car, tuition reimbursement, paid leave, and more. Join the team that makes a difference. Apply today at IllinoisTrooper.com.
Epic Black Friday deals at Menards are back. Pick up this 12-volt cordless drill kit for only $9.99. Get a dual-head LED work light with tripod for just $14.99. Secure big savings on a 4-pack ratchet strap set, now just $4.97. Or snag these giant 54-inch snow tubes for only $9.99 each. Hurry in for best selection. Don't miss out. These deals won't last long.
Save big money at Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
The IHSA, committed to keeping student-athletes safe. Through educational initiatives and national partnerships, we're going the distance to develop safer protocols for our teams. Plus, we continue to improve scheduling and conditioning to reduce injuries from preseason through each state championship. 31 sports, 350,000 student-athletes, and one goal, player safety. The IHSA, the future plays here.
Halftime here at the 2A state title game. It's Maroa-Forsyth looking for points and looking to come back from a 21-0 deficit to Chicago Christian inside our IHSA television network studios, along with Edgy, Tim O'Halloran, and I'm Marshall Harris. And what a first half for Chicago Christian, a team that looks very comfortable. Looks like they've been there, done that.
Yeah, they do, and they play hard. That's the one thing you take away from that first half. This is a team that scraps and fights and claws and has done everything possible to get in this position. They're earning every single step, and they're very, very impressive so far.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights, show you exactly how things went down early on in this one. It was scoreless, that is, until Kenny Jager got things going. Gets to the outside, and it's hard to bring him down.
Just refuses to go down, just keeps fighting off tackles, and again, just a hard running back, and very, very impressive day so far.
All right, so 7-0 at that point, but then Christian Flutman says, don't forget about me, guys. I can do things too.
And again, not the biggest kid in the world, but I tell you what, really good quickness and good vision upfield. Impressive run.
Extra point was blocked, so it's 13-0. Looking for more, probably not looking for this. Jaeger gets the first down here, but then he's stripped, and Grant Smith comes up with a recovery. So Maroa-Forsyth, they look like they're in business, but then things go horribly wrong. Final 30 seconds of the second quarter. Hot potato time.
Oh, yeah, we practice this every day. It's the bounce off us, you, the other guy, and then we take it and run it in for the touchdown play.
Nico Griggs gets the touchdown. He would get a 2-point conversion. It's 21-0 at the break. If you're Maroa-Forsyth, what do you do to answer what you saw here?
You've got to get back to being yourself. You have to get back to playing Maroa-Forsyth football, and they have not done that. We talked about during the game, they look cold. They just look like they haven't been able to get into their rhythm whatsoever. You watch their earlier games this year, you see an up-tempo team that really gets going now. Hey, it's easy for me in a warm studio. We know it's cold. We know it's windy. But, hey, you got to get something going. If you got to try to get the passing game going, got to get it going.
All right, Trojans trying to heat things up. We'll get you some stats and other things as we get you ready for the second half. In the 2A state title game, it's been all Chicago Christian.
Bob Riding's Lincoln Indicator has one of the largest selections of Lincoln inventory in Illinois, with over 100 Lincolns available, like this 2024 Grand Touring Hybrid Corsair. Get the best of both worlds with gas and electric for max power and gas economy. And right now, priced at invoice plus 0% for 60 months, plus a $3,750 tax credit right at time of purchase. Come see why we're Central Illinois' premier Lincoln dealer with over 3,000 five-star customer reviews and recommendations. Across from Caterpillar and at BobRiding'sIndicator.com.
Right arm, right leg, left arm. Both legs above the knee. Both legs, part of my left hand. Lost both my legs in Iraq.
These 9/11 veterans are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and pull-down cabinets that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans, thanks to our donors and supporters. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Kids aren't the only ones drowning in social media, but teens are definitely the most attached to their phones, which is not all good. Kids who spend too much time texting and posting are more likely to feel isolated and depressed. No one is saying throw your phone away, but once in a while, try actually calling somebody. Talking is even more social than social media. For more clues on how to clear your head and brighten your outlook, try visiting one more site. Your life, your voice.
Deals are only at Ashley.
Halftime in the 2A state title game where Chicago Christian working on a shutout so far of Maroa-Forsyth. Edgy Tim O'Halloran and Marshall Harris with you here at halftime to get you through it. And so far, you talked about the fact that Maroa-Forsyth hasn't looked like themselves. If you're Chicago Christian, you want to just keep things going.
Yeah, I'm not changing anything at all. Nothing. You continue to do what you're doing. Play hard, play physical, and again, you've held this offense to 33 total yards. If you can do that again, you're hoisting a really nice trophy at the end.
All right, let's take a look at the schedule and what we have upcoming. We already have one state champion crown. That was Aldorf Catholic as they ran away with a 57-14 win. You see where this one stands. Coming up next, it's Monticello going up against Montini Catholic.
Two really, really intriguing teams, and they both kind of are similar in style. Shotgun spread teams, but I tell you what, Monticello, Ike Young has been their guy. Passing game, running game, he's the man. Montini, a little bit more balanced. Keep an eye on Jeremiah Peterson for sure. The big time, I call him a fullback. He's 5'11", 220. Boy, you like having those kind of guys on a day like today. So we'll see the contrast of styles for sure in the next game.
Chicago Christian has their guy in Kenny Jaeger. He'll look to continue to scrap things up and run things up as we continue to get closer to the second half of this one between Maroa-Forsyth and the 21-0 leaders of the game, Chicago Christian.
Attention high school students. If you're tired of hearing the same old college debt story, we've got an exciting alternative for you. Join the Mid-America Carpenters Union and let your career dreams take flight. You can earn great pay, enjoy no-cost health insurance, and secure a stable retirement, all with no college debt and an elite career that's here to stay. It's time to build your future your way. Ready to carve your path to success? Contact the Mid-America Carpenters Union today to learn how you can unleash your potential.
You know what it's like to watch a winning team. Now it's your turn to be a part of one. The Illinois State Police is recruiting for our next cadet classes, and you could be our MVP. Protect the public, help those in need, and make a lasting impact in your community. Our mission, your future, higher purpose, higher pay. Starting pay is at $90,000 with incredible benefits package, including a take-home squad car, tuition reimbursement, paid leave, and more. Join the team that makes a difference. Apply today at IllinoisTrooper.com.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can know, from player to coach, from the ground to the sky. So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
Back with you in our IHSA Television Network studios with the halftime stats from Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs with Menards. And you look at the rushing yards, 140 to 16. That's not great. 7 carries for 16 yards for the Trojans. That's been part of their problems. But also, when you have 32 total yards, period, not much is getting done. Time possession also a huge factor here, Edgy.
Yeah, it's your worst nightmare if you're a Maroa-Forsyth fan. There's no doubt about it. This is not you. This is not your game, and you need to change it around right away.
6 of 15 passing, low percentages there as well. When you look at the 238 yards of total offense, if you're Maroa-Forsyth, where do you begin to kind of counter what they're doing defensively?
It's a great question. I know Coach Joseph is working on that in the locker room right now. Again, I'm just going to go back to you have to get back to your identity. You can't change your identity in a game like this. You have to go back to what's gotten you here, passing that ball and just trying to spread the wealth and playing with more tempo. I think that has to go Maroa's way here as well.
How surprising is this, CJ Cesario? We know he's a first-year head coach. He looks pretty comfortable, at least listening to that halftime interview with Casey.
Is that not the best head of hair in all of high school football? Seriously.
It's better than mine. I'll give you that.
Athletically challenged people. We are incredibly jealous of CJ. Terrific young coach, no doubt about it.
All right, so you have a situation with Christian Flutman. If you're Chicago Christian, how are you trying to play this? You don't want to get too conservative, I'm sure. You want to add points and put them on the board and put Maroa-Forsyth in an even deeper hole.
Yeah, no, you continue to do what you're doing. You play your game. They've gotten here by mixing things up, and they've done that very well here. A little help on that last tip pass for a touchdown, but you'll take your breaks where you get it. I think you stick to the game plan. Again, tough physical defense, mix things up offensively. Yeah, no time to go conservative now. You got a title to win.
I mean, it is early, but it seems like that might be the play of the day. It might be the play of the weekend so far. Nico Griggs pulling one down and taking it 60-plus yards to the house.
If you believe in messages, that was a message. There's no doubt. It's kind of your day when a play like that goes your way. You got to feel good. But again, it's a brand new half. You've got to come out and play like it's 0-0. Coach speak, I know, but it's the absolute truth.
We will find out if that works for this team. Maroa-Forsyth, again, they're a team that's done this plenty of times. 10 state title games. This is the first ever appearance for Chicago Christian. They're trying to become the rookies of the year, if you will, and take one home in appearance number 1. That's going to do it for us here. We'll see you after the game, but on the other side, it'll be back out to Sam. It'll be back out to Jack. They've got the second half for you. More miraculous plays perhaps on the way. Nico Griggs and company, they're out to a 21-0 lead.
Mom, I can't find Mr. Quaggo.
Mom's in York mode right now. She's enjoying yummy dark chocolate and refreshing peppermint.
Mama's back. For a thin layer of mint covered in dark chocolate, try York Thins.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back. Start to break away from UC with Tremfya. with rapid relief at 4 weeks. Tremfya blocks a key source of inflammation. At 1 year, many people experienced remission, and some saw 100% visible healing of their intestinal lining. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today.
Feel the thrill of gliding on ice. And enjoy the cozy warmth of s'mores by the fire. Cherish the moments together this holiday season at Christmas at Cantini. Get your tickets at cantini.org.
The future of cool, comfortable sleep is here. Introducing the new Sleep Number Climate Cool Smart Bed, the only smart bed in the world that actively cools and effortlessly adjusts to both of you. Sleep up to 15 degrees cooler on each side. It actively cools by drawing warm air away from your body to keep you cool and comfortable throughout the night. Our smart sleepers get 28 minutes more restful sleep per night. And now save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus free home delivery when you add a base. Shop a Sleep Number store near you.
Ashley's Black Friday deals continue this weekend. Now through Monday, shop incredible doorbusters starting at just $1.99. Plus, get the best prices on Ashley products guaranteed. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
How about this? 21-0. Chicago Christian on top of Maroa-Forsyth, making their first appearance ever in the state title game. They have aced every test so far as we welcome you back to beautiful Hancock Stadium. And up here in the broadcast booth, Sam Brief, Jack McInerney with you. And Jack, it's all about the run game so far for the Knights.
It really is. And the thing that I'm impressed by is when they've had to, they've thrown the ball for a little balance. But the key to their running game is their backs. They run so hard. It's not as if they've had great open fields. You can see the cutback. You can see that it takes 2 or 3 defenders to take them down. And the other part of it is their quarterback has run very effectively besides throwing the ball effectively. They've shown great balance in this first half. Can they continue to do it in the second half? If they do, it's going to lead to a state championship.
So lots of questions, meanwhile, to be answered on the flip side. And our own Casey Standahar standing by with Maroa-Forsyth coach Josh Jostis.
Coach, a couple of bad bounces, things not going your way in the first half. What did you tell your team in the locker room?
I got 24 minutes left. Our seniors have 24 minutes left in most of their football careers. So come out swinging, and, obviously we have to play a better second half.
What's the number one thing you want to change offensively here coming up?
Right now we're not us. That's not what we normally look like on offense, and we got to make plays. Our dudes have to step up and be better. We have to block for 4 seconds, which we're not doing.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Thanks, Casey. And we are not us right now on offense. Those 4 words are powerful from Coach Jostis. Here's what Maroa-Forsyth usually is. 46 points a game, 400 total yards of offense per game. Here's where they are today. No points, 32 yards of offense, and just 16 yards from their borderline all-state quarterback, Ryan Shepard.
And the other part of that is Chicago Christian has 5 plays over 10 yards. They have 238 yards of total offense. They have 10 first downs, and they have 3 plays over 25 yards. How can they do that? Where are they coming up with this? Nobody expected it, but they're doing it.
Their first trip to the state title game so far, so amazing for Chicago Christian. Here goes Jared Hall down the right sideline, all the way to the 35. Set up pretty good field position for this Christian Flutman, Kenny Jager-led offense. That went 21 points, 238 yards, and an immaculate reception type play at the end of the first half.
It certainly was. And the thing is, what do you tell players at halftime? Well, for example, Cesario's probably saying, we need to put 21 more up, can't take the foot off the pedal. And on the other hand, Joseph is saying, look, if they scored 21 in the first half, why can't we score 22 in the second half?
They did win their quarterfinal game, 22-21, so maybe the same. Here's Hall on a slant route for 4 yards. Maroa-Forsyth, 10 trips to the state title game. Only 2 wins. And they haven't won a state championship since 2012. Meanwhile, Chicago Christian, there's no numbers. They've never been here. This is a program on the rise, peaking right here, right now. And here comes 2nd and 6 for Flutman. Flutman, a keeper. Flutman rumbles. Breaks a few tackles down to the 49 for first down.
Very good fake in the backfield, and the part of that is Kenny Yeager carried out the fake 5 yards down the field. And what they did is they drew 2 secondary members over his way and one of the linebackers, and that allowed Flutman to get some good yardage upfield and a first down. This team is very well coached. Flutman is a very good quarterback, throwing and running the football, and of course, Kenny Yeager is just a tough high school running back.
Flutman, the dual threat, right? 102 yards through the air, 53 on the ground. Rough yardage. Jaeger off the left tackle for a couple more. And into Trojan territory. That'll put Jaeger over 100 yards on 20 carries.
And aside from that one long run in the first possession, all those other yards have been tough yards inside the tackle. And he's just been nickel-diming them 3-4 yards here and there. But it's led up to 100 yards of total offense for him.
About 5 yards a carry. A perfect nickel for Kenny Jaeger. Flutman to Jaeger. And Jaeger breaks 2 tackles. Breaks another one. And all the way to the 32. Kenny Jaeger, tough.
Well, tough, and the other part of it is Casey with that interview with Coach Joseph said, one of the things he said, we got to tackle better. So there's a perfect example of what they're not doing. There's 1 great spin out. There's 2, 3. There's 4 or 5 to take him down. I mean, this is a young running back. He's not all that big, but yet he runs extremely strong and tough. Really quick feet and really impressive young back.
12 first downs for the Knights, 1 for the Trojans. Flutman, the keeper. Flutman for a yard. Let's not forget, this is revenge game for Chicago Christian. Last year, first round of the playoffs, they headed to Maroa-Forsyth, and they got pounded 42-6 to end the Knights season. And a year later, they played the same team in the state title game, and they're pounding them.
It's high school football.
Beautiful. On 2nd and 8, here's Jaeger. A rumble for a couple.
This is 4-down territory for Chicago Christian. It was when they had worse field position. Now it's not all that bad, so they'll be going for it, definitely.
We've seen guts from Coach Cesario.
And we've also seen a lot of guts and confidence in his players. And the players have confidence in him. They know that if he's going to go for it on 4th down, that they feel as if they're capable of picking it up.
He says these are incredible young men. It's a delight to be a part of their story. On 3rd and 5, here goes Jaeger. The first down and much more as he squirms to the 16.
Once he gets past the line of scrimmage, and it doesn't take much for him to get past the line of scrimmage. He's very quick. And that was about a 14-yard gain for him. But a good shot of looking at what this offensive line does. They do not have to pancake people or anything else, but he's just quick to the hole. They tie up people, and then he gets there before the linebackers can fill. And he's picking up good yardage, very important, valuable yardage for Chicago Christian.
So 1st and 10 into the red zone. With 4 wideouts, Flutman airs it out deep into the corner, and it was nearly intercepted. Caden Birmingham on the coverage.
Well, that's a play where the wind was a factor, but also his arm was a little too long from the standpoint of that fake. The ball should have been delivered a little sooner. You want to give it that ball delivered when he's on the goal line so he can run under it, and it was delivered when he was already in the end zone, so he'd be going out no matter what. Combination of timing there and the wind.
Just Flutman's fourth incompletion today in that win. 10 for 14 is a sparkling number. And with 5 seconds on the play clock, they're going to rush or call timeout. There's a time.
Got to get timeout, or if you can't afford to take a 5-yard loss here.
Well, it looked like C.J. Cesario called time. Our cameras caught him. Play clock reads 00. Everything being sorted. This officiating crew just kind of figuring things out right now, and looks like they're not giving a timeout to Chicago Christian, but a fresh 25 on the play clock.
Reset the set, 25 seconds.
And David Gibbons doesn't give us much, but enough. Reset the play clock. All right, here we go. So clock is moving for Flutman. And now Flutman is moving. And Flutman sprinting into the end zone. Another one. 18-yard score for Flutman.
What a nice run. And part of that was the good fake to Kenny Yeager, who's been very effective on this drive. Gave him a good fake to the right, which drew the linebackers, and a couple of the secondary rotated towards Yeager. And Flutman, who shows us good quickness and good speed, takes it into the end zone. See the rotation with that fake. You can see how the secondary slid over, and then he cuts back against the grain. A good open field runner is Flutman. Very impressive.
His second touchdown run. And Chicago Christian continuing to maul Maroa-Forsyth. Hall misses his first extra point of the day.
He's kicking too high up on the ball.
A 9-play drive ends in a touchdown for number 6. Christian Flutman looking to deliver state title number 1 for the Knights.
Tomorrow, I'll be making a difference in the classroom. Tonight, I'll be making memories with the dance team.
I'm expressing myself with my poetry and with my hands.
I'm providing for my patients and for my community.
At NIU, you'll go places as unique as you, with the resources and support to get you there. Join us and start writing your story today.
On behalf of our 12,000 members, I want to congratulate all the athletes in today's competition. I am Don Finn, the business manager of IBW Local 134, representing the unionized electricians of Chicago, Cook County. Local 134 offers you more than just a job. It offers you a career. Our future is brighter than ever. From building solar fields to constructing data centers to shaping Chicago's skyline. Join the most diverse workforce in the building trades. Building careers, building the future. IBW Local 134.
Well, the team that's never played in the state title game is up 27-0. And it's been a nearly flawless performance.
Without a doubt, flawless. And plus, they got that lucky prayer touchdown right at the end of the half. And they're taking advantage of it.
A polished run game, a dominant defense, and an efficient passing game, plus a little bit of luck equals 27-0. The first-year head coach, C.J. Cesario. Wow, he turned this job down 3 times, and I can see now why Chicago Christian kept asking, how about now? How about now? How about now? And finally, he let up, said, yep, I'll leave Mount Carmel, where he was an assistant. I'll head to Chicago Christian, a program that at the time had 27 players. Now they have 27 points in a state championship game. What a turnaround. So Maroa-Forsyth off the kickoff, and a nice little return for Caden Birmingham down to the 46. Well, we've told you it's cold. It feels like 5 degrees down there. Our tremendous sideline reporter, Casey Standahar. Is that an igloo?
Yeah, this is my little tent, Sam. What do you guys think? It's cozy. There's
This
two
is your
seats in
home.
here
This
if
is
you'd
how
like
you're
to come
watching
and
the
sit.
game.
Yes, well, you know,
I'll
I've been
stay
hanging
up
out
here.
in between quarters. Yeah, well, it's definitely warmer up there, but I'm accepting applications and gifts. Like if you want to bring an electric blanket or anything down here, you can bring food in here. It's kind of nice.
We've got an extra turkey leg. We'll send it down shortly. Wow,
All right, sounds
Casey.
good. I don't even know if you guys can see me in here.
No, it looks like you're behind a shield of ice, right, Jack?
It does, but we know she isn't.
A temp in there is probably a little closer to 20. Well, Casey's braving it, and here we are with, look at this, backup quarterback Aiden Williams in the game for Maroa-Forsyth. And he takes it himself. Nice run off the left end. Williams tackled down at the 46. A nice gain for a first down. Or not quite. Just a yard shot.
Well, this is just a good job right here. I don't think Chicago Christian was expecting this. This is just a power play for the quarterback. It's basically he's not in there to be a quarterback. He's in there to be a running back. They pull the guard and tackle, and he gets out there. But a good job of stretching it by Chicago Christian, where he's not allowed to really get upfield and turn it into a longer gain.
On third down, Williams still out there, and this is first down, I believe. Barely. Smith able to stretch across. That's only the second first down of the game for Maroa, and their first third down conversion.
The other part of this is the fact that as well as Chicago Christian is playing, and we'll emphasize the fact that they have 9 two-way players. So that kind of gives you an idea of the conditioning of these young athletes.
It's elite. Williams, the backup quarterback, with that southpaw toss incomplete at the knees of Birmingham. We don't know what's up with Ryan Shepard. We see number 2 in white on the Trojan sideline. That's Shepard, who threw for over 3,000 yards in the regular season, but his backup in now.
Well, again, we don't know the reason for that. It's obviously a coach's decision, but we'll see. Unless this is just a better runner, and they want to emphasize maybe putting a little more pressure on the secondary by throwing and running.
Looks like a neutral zone infraction on Chicago Christian, which is the first penalty of the game on the Knights.
5 yards, still second down.
And this is the first time all game long that the Trojans have been inside the Knight 40. Under the guidance of sophomore backup quarterback Aiden Williams. He bobbles it. Knights have got it. And the Knights can keep on sizzling. Verstrati jumped on it first.
And it looks like he's injured.
And the quarterback, Williams, awfully slow to get up.
This is a big play for Chicago Christian right here. Tries to run up the middle, but he just pulls his arm right out of there. And the ball goes on the ground, and Chicago Christian comes up with it.
And that's Brock Sperling, who was the conference defensive lineman of the year last season. A beastly two-way player forces a turnover, a huge one, just when Maroa had a glimpse of momentum. The ball goes back to the Knights. So here's Flutman. Hand off Yeager. And there goes Yeager with a huge burst. 20 plus for number 20.
What a great job of running, but you've got to give that offensive line credit. I mean, he had lots of running room, and they were just locking on people and doing a terrific job. Vander Werken and Sperling and Zisk, Sistama and Verstraete just doing a great job right here. Locking on. You can see downfield, the wide receivers are doing a good job staying on people, and that's what you need to do to have a big run. Everybody's got to lock on and stay until you hear the whistle. Too many times kids just hit somebody, and then they let them go before the whistle ever blows.
And Yeager again, spinning to the 30. That's 25 carries for Jaeger. 155 yards.
And he plays safety on defense.
9 two-way players. It's incredible, the conditioning
really is. And not only the conditioning, but how effective they are on both sides of the ball. It's not like they're really giving up anything on either side of the ball. There's a good shot of Shepard right there.
Yeah, Shepard, the tremendous Maroa-Forsyth quarterback who was pulled from the game in the third. We'll see if he comes back. And Jaeger with another burst. Jaeger shaking off a few and a stiff arm to the 10.
He looks so fresh. He doesn't look like he's played a half and a quarter. I mean, he just looks so fresh with that football, just quicker than can be, and he's also been playing defense. He just gets out there so quickly. Does a nice job, a combination of poor tackling, but a combination of good power getting that ball up the field.
This guy's been toiling for hours in the freezing cold on both sides of the ball. And he looks like he just started. His team's got a 27-point cushion. And 1st and 10 at the 11. To Jaeger again, and this time just a yard.
Well, that end zone shot showed you there was absolutely nowhere for him to go. The linebacker stepped up inside and plugged that hole. That's the first time that Jaeger really didn't have any kind of yardage whatsoever.
250 rushing yards as a team. And as a result, they've owned time of possession. 22 minutes for the Knights, 9 minutes for the Trojans. Here goes Flutman. He'll run it to the right. Flutman, a cutback. Flutman, another touchdown. Just rubbing it in now.
If I didn't know that Flutman was a quarterback, I'd certainly think that he was the top running back on that team. And, of course, we know that Kenny Jaeger is, but, wow, Flutman is just an outstanding runner.
Christian Flutman, 3 rushing touchdowns today. And, again, beautiful cutback.
Beautiful cutback. Jaeger was out in front of him, and they looked like they wanted to string it out. And that's where the secondary rotated to the wide of the outside. He was smart enough to cut it back against the grain and take it into the end zone.
And they'll go for 2 once again. Flutman to Van Dellen and tipped to keep it 33-zip. Well, Brock Sperling forced a fumble. The Knights pounced on it. And a couple minutes later, the Knights pounce into the end zone. In their first state title game, Chicago Christian might be starting to smell victory.
Every year, the Whiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Whiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum, we can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
Chicago Christian in their debut state title game. Jack, they've played a perfect game.
They really have, and it's impressive to watch them both sides of the ball and be able to have a team that doesn't platoon at all and to be this fresh and this active. And there's a good shot of what they've been doing on that last drive. And you're talking about a quarterback that runs as well as the running backs in most of these games we've seen. That drive didn't take that long, but they're so efficient in what they do.
2-minute drive. Christian Flutman, 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, we look at what Kenny Jaeger's done on the ground, 179 yards and a score. Well, Flutman has 7 carries. 3 of them have ended with touchdowns.
Well, thank Jaeger for that, because they really key on Jaeger. And when he looks to go outside, he takes it with it and cuts back against the grain. They're so concerned about keeping Jaeger from getting to the outside that Flutman's able to take advantage of that.
To Birmingham now. on the kick return, and he able to get his way into night territory as the Maroa-Forsyth offense takes the field. And time now for the Menards play of the game. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And this might be the play of the tournament. 1 tip, 2 tips, and then Nico Griggs to the house.
Unbelievable. And a part of that is not only was it an interesting play, but when it happened is the other part of what makes it really interesting. With 30 seconds or 20 seconds left in the half to have that happen.
Sneaking into the locker room. That was tremendous. And meanwhile, for the Trojan offense, the starting quarterback, Ryan Shepard, is back in the game. He had been pulled for Williams, the backup. Shepard's back, looking for their first points of the game. And off the end around, here's Zach Smith tripped up in the backfield. Isaac Workman on the tackle.
Chicago Christian has shown really good team speed defensively getting to the football. They're very active. They take the right angles. They have good setups as far as formations that Maroa's thrown at them. They're making really nice adjustments. And what they're doing is they're tackling in the open field, something that Maroa has not been able to do.
Speed, endurance, the total package. And now a 3rd and 11. Shepard looking for Smith and finding no one. After 3,300 yards in the regular season, Ryan Shepard, 16 yards today.
Now they bring Yeager back in. Gave him a little break there, but he's back in the secondary.
And now Aiden Williams back on for a punt. Nothing but frustration on this Maroa sideline. And a high snap, Williams will boot it. On a frustrating day for the Trojans, this one falls out of bounds around the 25. And let's check in. What's going on with Ryan Shepard? We have some word from our sidelines. And Casey.
Sam, thanks. Obviously not the great first half that Ryan Shepard wanted, but Trojan quarterback Shepard had big shoes to fill when he took over as QB1 after 2-time All-State quarterback Caden Maurer graduated last season. The former outside linebacker turned QB took this challenge head on, now leading the state in passing yards for a junior quarterback with over 3,300 yards. Coach Jostis said Shepard makes great decisions. He's done a great job silencing those who doubted him, and there were rumblings of what this team will do without Caden. He took that personally and stepped right in with a chip on his shoulder to prove his worth. He's hoping he can get things back on track for this Maroa team.
And if he's going to get things back on track, he's got to get back on the field. Thanks, Casey, for the awesome report.
That's a good point. He's got to get back on the field to be able to throw the ball down the field, put some points on the scoreboard. But the way that Chicago Christian is controlling the clock and the chains, that could be a distant dream.
Every second so valuable. Just over 13 minutes left in the game. And this Chicago Christian offense looks so fresh. Here goes Jaeger. An easy 5. And when 5 is easy, you know your line's pushing well.
And the fact that he gets up behind that offensive line and does a nice job of powering in behind him. He's not a dancer. He's a power runner. He came up a little gimpy there, as you can see. But he's a tough kid. He runs hard inside, but he's got really good speed to the outside.
8 yards per carry for someone who doubles as starting safety and has made some tremendous defensive plays.
He really has, but that entire team has done a nice job on both sides of the ball. But I think what surprises a lot of people is how well they played defensively.
Against one of the best offensive teams in the state, no points. Pitching a shutout right now as Jaeger skates his way to 3rd and short range. Just keeping that clock moving. I bet they just take this one to quarter 4.
Nice job right there again, getting in behind that offensive line. They're controlling the line of scrimmage, and when you play in big games like this, It's not usually people look at the quarterback. We've mentioned this before, and all the skill players, but look to the line of scrimmage. That's where these games are won.
Last year, the Chicago Christian season ended in a blowout loss to Maroa-Forsyth. Year later, same team state title game and dominance. Quarter 4 next.
Premier Dental of Decatur, where happiness begins with a smile.
Remarkable women from across the country.
I'm just a survivor that's not going to give up.
Help shine the light on their incredible stories.
I didn't survive to sit on my story.
125 trailblazers will be honored and could win $25,000 for the nonprofit of their choice, plus a trip of a lifetime.
This doesn't happen in my life very often.
Nominations open through December 20th.
Go to WCIA.com/remarkablewomen, sponsored by CEFQ, not a bank. Better.
What's your favorite part of a Kit Kat bar? The chocolate?
Nope, the inside.
The wafers?
No, the stuff in between the wafers.
Ah, the in-between stuff.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
And try Kit Kat Vanilla.
Bob Riding's Lincoln in Decatur has one of the largest selections of Lincoln inventory in Illinois, with over 100 Lincolns available, like this 2024 Grand Touring Hybrid Corsair. Get the best of both worlds with gas and electric for max power and gas economy. And right now, priced at invoice plus 0% for 60 months, plus a $3,750 tax credit right at time of purchase. Come see why we're Central Illinois' premier Lincoln dealer with over 3,000 five-star customer reviews and recommendations. Across from Caterpillar and at BobRidingsDecatur.com.
Focus. Try harder. These things are a lot easier to say than, I think my child needs support. More than 6 million kids in the U.S. have ADHD. Many aren't getting the support they need. Your child wants to thrive. Be the reason they do.
Premier Dental of Decatur, where happiness begins with a smile.
In their debut state title game, Chicago Christian acing every single test. 33-0 over powerhouse Maroa-Forsyth. Here's how the morning went down, though. In the 1A game, Oregon-bound running back Dier Hill Jr. amassed 518 total yards, a state title game record, 7 touchdowns, and Althoff Catholic winning its 4th state title first in 34 years. That was a blowout in game 1. This is a blowout in game 2. 3 and 4 coming up next.
But the other part of that is they're blowouts, but they're really fun to watch. They're very interesting games because of the players and what they're doing. The performances are pretty darn good by a lot of different people in both of these ball games.
That's a great point. That first game might have been as entertaining of a 57-14 game I've ever seen. Here's a 3rd and 2 now. Jager on the run for a first down. And crucially, that clock keeps moving.
It's almost as if he gets the ball, he knows exactly what he needs. You don't always find that with running backs in high school. They get the ball and they don't know if they need 5 yards or they need 50 yards. But when you get these smart young players like this, they know exactly what they need. And that has a lot to do with the kind of type of run that they make, whether they cut back or they try to get to the edge. It has a lot to do with the yardage that's needed.
The Chicago Christian's a tiny program. When Coach Cesario inherited it a year ago, only 27 players on the roster, 9 two-way guys. And now they are about to coast their way into a state championship, barring an absolute miracle.
Well, we had mentioned, if you talk to Coach Cesario, what of the 13 games you've played thus far, which would have been the best game that you would have picked out that your players have made? If you're going to count this game up to this point, you'd have to say this game, which is what you'd really want to happen, having your team peak at the very end of the season. In the 14th game, they're peaking. They can't get any better than what they've done so far.
Play your best game in the state title game, you've done a good job. Here's Jaeger on another run, and his 32nd carry of the day puts him over the 200-yard mark and keeps the clock ticking. Kenny Jaeger, an explosive little firecracker, according to his coach, and he's really delivered.
Well, you know what's interesting also, where does he get his break? He gets his break on defense, and he starts on defense at safety. I mean, he's running with the ball now, as you mentioned. All this time, he's carrying the ball almost every play. Where's his break?
Halftime?
It's halftime and or on defense.
On the bus ride home?
Probably.
Maybe with a trophy?
He might be driving the bus home. Who knows?
He does everything. Now he drives a pile across the 38.
He might be a little short on that one.
If Chicago Christian can just keep things steady for another 9:45, they'll drive home with a trophy. About 150 miles northeast to Palos Heights. And for the third time today, they'll go for it on a 4th down and short. They're 2 of 2 today. Perfect. 4th and a foot.
And using the clock.
Jaeger's got it easy. And Jaeger down to the 36. They have 20 first downs. Their opponent has 2.
We came into this game, there's a couple terms that would be used by a lot of people that have played either one of these teams. Watch Jaeger, that's the quickness I've talked about, those quick feet bouncing them outside. People would talk about underdog, Chicago Christian coming in this game, and upset. And we're seeing everything right now. They came into this game, there's no doubt about it, as the underdog. And we are seeing an upset because when they came in, most teams didn't think they could hang with Maroa.
It's been a while since I saw 33-0 upset. Jaeger, the only offense on this drive, has a 3-yard gain. I mean, the team that came in as the underdog, came in as the debutante of the state title game, is 1 touchdown away from making this a mercy rule running clock.
Yeah,
how about
amazing.
that?
And the other part of that is you don't think a team that comes into the state championship should be considered an underdog. It's an even field. I mean, both teams have got to be excellent to get into the state championship game, so theoretically there really is no underdog.
That's a great point. Chicago Christian 12-1 this year. The 10th play of the drive is to who else? Kenny Jaeger bulldozes to the 29. And this has been a fun drive to watch if you like hard-nosed football, right?
He is on a mission. And he's playing a little gimpy. A little gimpy,
Almost
but he certainly is on a mission.
5'7", 180. Starting running back, starting safety. Yeah, that's a surefire limp. And at the 28-yard line is coach watching these final 7 minutes. Van Dellen on a screen pass. And Van Dellen breaks a few tackles. He has a first down.
It seems like each one of these players from Chicago Christian, every time they touch the football, they get more than the initial hit. They always seem to get that extra yardage. Good job of blocking right here again at the point of attack, but good move right there. Some very poor tackling, as Coach mentioned. And that really hasn't improved that dramatically in the second half.
Eddie Van Dellen with his 3rd reception. No, that's not Eddie Van Halen. That's Van Dellen for the Knights.
Got all his records.
Here's Jaeger. He's rock and rolled all day, but caught in the backfield. We're going to toss it back down to the field, and the wonderful Casey Standahar standing by.
Oh, well, thanks, Sam. Hey, we talked about it earlier. Chicago Christian head coach C.J. Cesario, the sophomore coach at Mount Carmel, he brought that culture from 6410 South Dante to his new position as former boss, Caravan head coach Jordan Lynch also here this weekend fighting for another state title in the 7A class. And Lynch told me Cesario was amazing for Mount Carmel. The kids loved him. He knows how to listen and understand his players to figure out what motivates them. So there's really no surprise here that he has that ability to get these student athletes on board at this new program.
Van Dellen off the pass from Flutman and Eddie Van Dellen with a touchdown for Chicago Christian.
We got a flag
22
down.
yards, but hold up, we got a flag.
Well, that was a great job by Flutman, keeping the play alive with his feet. Yes, yeah, we
got a flag down at the 14. And now we'll get the call from an officiating crew that has not had to do much today with only one penalty.
Lineman downfield, 5 yards, repeat the down.
So wipe the touchdown. The second penalty for Chicago Christian takes away 6.
And that'll happen when you have a scrambling quarterback. Now, that play was designed as a play action in or a cup play, and all of a sudden he started scrambling to keep it alive. And the linemen don't know where he went to the outside. And sometimes when they lose their defender, because the defender's starting to look for the quarterback, they start grabbing or they get downfield a little too much.
And this time it costs them a touchdown. But I don't think anyone's sweating too much.
I don't think so either. It's a good shot at Coach Cesario, who I misspoke earlier. When I kept talking about Mount Carmel, it just ran on that he coached there, and I just forgot that he didn't play there. He played at St. Viator, if I remember correctly. Want to give them their just dues.
Educated at St. Viator and then an assistant at Mount Carmel, who will fight for a title tomorrow, as Casey told us. And Casey's report bringing up Jordan Lynch, who will coach tomorrow for Mount Carmel. That name, royalty in the state of Illinois, and a great person to learn from. Clearly, lessons
it really
paid off.
is, but long before Jordan Lynch, royalty was Frank Lenti at Mount Carmel. He's the one that got that program going after it was stumbling a little bit in the 70s, and he got it going to where it is today. I mean, Jordan Lynch is an outstanding coach, but he took over the dynasty that Frank Lenti had laid down for them at Mount Carmel.
And now the coaching tree continuing to grow here with Chicago Christian. Flutman, deep drop. Flutman's got a man, and Flutman has a touchdown. This time, it's Jared Hall.
And again, the feet and movement of Flutman is what created that pass, because he rolled to the right, and the receiver ran away from him, and the defender kind of lost track of where he was, and a good throw going back against the wind for Flutman to score the touchdown.
And it's a fourth quarter touchdown, which is brought to you by Southern Illinois University Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities. And this one was pretty. Flutman's fourth, or check that, his fifth. 3 rushing, 2 passing, and the extra point makes it 40-0, which means running clock, mercy rule territory. Chicago Christian, they've never been in a title game. They're about to win a title.
All right, let's go. I'll strap for the kids, and you get something for the dog.
Sounds good. Let's do this.
Whether you're shopping for gifts or something for yourself,
Don't forget toys for the dog.
rush in for Black Friday deals at Menards that everyone will love. Because when they're gone, they're gone.
Save big money at Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
A coach in his first season on the verge of becoming a state champion, 40-0. Chicago Christian blowing the rails off this thing. And now our defensive play of the game is brought to you by Union Carpenters and Contractors, partners in building communities and supporting working families. Jack, this fumble led to a touchdown.
Well, when you play defense like that, he just ripped that arm away. And that's the old Peanuts from the Chicago Bears. You know, you strip the arm, pull it down, and that's what he did. And that was a very important fumble and recovery by Chicago Christian, and he took advantage of it. Any kind of turnover that you make and create and take advantage of, that's what gives you the concept of being a championship team.
The peanut punch, something Chicago fans
peanut punch, yep,
love. And this Chicago team is on the verge of a title. A nearly perfect game. And a first-year head coach destined to etch his name in Chicago Christian lore as this kickoff tumbles out of bounds. And we've got a running clock for the final 5:06. The mercy rule, 40 points. But first we'll have a penalty here with the kickoff out of bounds. And CJ Cesario with his motto, TPW, tough people win. And it's very clear his team is tough. His team's about to win. State title number 1 is about 5 minutes away for Chicago Christian. One more break, and then the home stretch here at Hancock Stadium.
Coughing and throat feeling sore? We've got medication to get you out the door. Earache, pink eye, bug bite, or rash? Our wonderful staff will treat you in a flash.
What about sprains, strains, and minor fractures too?
Don't worry. Our x-rays reveal what's hidden from view. Need care after 9, 10, or 11? Our virtual care's got you 24/7. OSF on-call urgent care, in person or virtual. We're always there.
We're going to need more fuel. A renewable way to get that fuel instead of relying on foreign countries for petroleum, we can just grow our own fuel. Our fields are literally full of energy.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Country Financial. Worry less and feel more confident with insurance designed to meet your specific needs. Visit countryfinancial.com to experience more today.
40-0. How about that? Chicago Christian sniffing their first state title. And it's thanks to 38 carries, 223 yards, and a score for Kenny Jaeger, our Country Financial Player of the Game. Visit countryfinancial.com to experience more. 38 carries for a two-way player.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is we've had 2 consecutive games where we've had 2 outstanding running backs that have thrown up tremendous statistics. But when you look at how they run, they deserve every bit of it. Just outstanding. Now, different types of runners, but still very, very good high school football players.
5'7", 180. He packs it in muscle. Rips over defenders, uses that stiff arm. We've seen everything from 20 in black.
And he's out there playing right now on defense.
Every down for Jaeger. Ryan Shepard back to work, and he's stripped. Brock Sperling, the beast, rumbling down to the 4. His second strip of the day.
What could go wrong? Anything else could possibly go wrong for Maroa. And anything go better for Chicago Christian. Amazing.
Chicago Christian is pitching a perfect game. And their senior DT, Brock Sperling, nearly took this to the house.
Unbelievable. Now, 10-year reunion or 20-year reunion, he took it to the house.
Right.
Everybody will have forgotten, but that's why he could say that.
20 years after that, it's 2 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
And he's back in there on offense. One of the 9 two-way players on this Knights team. So looking for 6 more. Here's Flutman and the night offense.
He's looking at that official to give him the signal that 5 seconds left.
So wait. It's a running clock. The mercy rule has been activated with a 40-point cushion. A little run down to the 1-yard line. Blake Denman on the carry. Back to the strip sack.
Good penetration right there. I mean, that was just a bull rush where he drove that offensive lineman right back into the quarterback, and just an outstanding defensive play. You wonder, how do these kids have the energy to play at this kind of a level with this kind of enthusiasm and energy for this whole ball game?
You asked me when Kenny Jager gets a break. It's right now. He's on the sideline now watching as Flutman hands it to Denman, and Blake Denman squeezes his way for a touchdown. 46 points for a state title game debutante.
It's amazing. It's just everything. I mean, if you had a cut-up tape, which is what you do when you want to show certain plays, this is good, this is bad, whatever. They couldn't find a cut-up for anything that's bad. Everything's been good, except for probably their kicking, their extra points. That's probably the only thing that hasn't been acceptable. And then as soon as I say that, he kicks.
Yeah, Jared Hall's saying, well, Mr. McInerney, let me show you a perfect extra point.
Exactly.
Maroa-Forsyth's a powerhouse, and make no mistake, CJ Cesario knows that. He said these guys are the class of 2A. They've been to the state title game 10 times. All the respect in the world for their head coach, Josh Jostis. But Maroa's done nothing today. 30 total yards of offense compared to 446 for Chicago Christian.
That's just an amazing statistic. You got to think that coming into this ball game for some reason, and I know coach didn't let them think that this is going to be an easy game for him as far as for Maroa, because he's been here too many times. He realizes and understands what it takes to win a state championship. But sometimes kids look at records or they look and say, look at, Chicago Christian, you know who we are? We don't know who they are. And all of a sudden, now they do know who Chicago Christian is.
Anyone in this stadium will go to bed tonight impressed with Chicago Christian.
No doubt about it.
CJ Cesario, his first year as a head coach in the state of Illinois. And in a few minutes, he'll lift a trophy over his head. What a story. Little squib kick. And the return out to the 32, absolutely nothing for Caden Birmingham. Monticello and Montini coming in hot about 30 minutes after this one. So 3A and then 4A later tonight. We'll get rolling with classes 5 through 8A tomorrow. On the verge also of some history, Jack, and we haven't had a shutout in the 2A state title game since 1999. So 25 years ago, Stillman Valley over Macon, 28-0. This one's 47-0. Then it stays that way as Sperling smothers Chris Renfro.
They just cannot handle that defensive front of Chicago Christian. We're giving great accolades to both Jaeger and Flutman, but I'll tell you what, the accolades go both to the offense and defensive fronts for Chicago Christian. They have been outstanding, absolutely outstanding.
Well, the numbers keep coming. How about this one? Coming into today, Maroa-Forsyth averaged 46 points a game. Today they have 30 yards.
It's unbelievable.
And all hugs for Coach. And still nothing for the Trojan offense. So Maroa-Forsyth will finish the season 11-2. And their program's record in the state title game will drop to 2-9. 0 for their last 5.
It's a tough way to go, but on the other hand, you got to give them a lot of credit for being in the state championship game. You can't win it if you're not here.
And Maroa-Forsyth is in it as often as anyone in 2A football. Here for the first time since 2018. And next year, they'll look for redemption. Their third-string quarterback, Peyton Briley, will just watch as his running backs inhaled again, and Chicago Christian is on the verge of history. Before this season, they'd never even sniffed a game like this, a state championship game. And getting here, well, it felt like a borderline miracle. CJ Cesario, now soaking wet and doubly freezing.
I'd be hugging that young man also. What an outstanding high school football player he is.
And Kenny Jager, 38 carries, 223 on the ground. And a state championship for Chicago Christian. Coach said, I've got a front row seat to something incredible. And now, a front row seat to history. The Knights of Chicago Christian, Illinois state champs. A program that had no idea what a stage like this felt like. Just put up a 47-0 effort to win its first ever state title. Wow, congratulations to Coach Cesario and the Chicago Christian Knights. Dominance, pitching a perfect game in the biggest of stages. It's cold, but cold feels good when you're a winner. Back after this.
The IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you in part by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs. And by SIU Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities.
Attention high school students. If you're tired of hearing the same old college debt story, we've got an exciting alternative for you. Join the Mid-America Carpenters Union and let your career dreams take flight. You can earn great pay, enjoy no-cost health insurance, and secure a stable retirement, all with no college debt and an elite career that's here to stay. It's time to build your future your way. Ready to carve your path to success? Contact the Mid-America Carpenters Union today to learn how you can unleash your potential.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky. So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
All right, let's go. I'll strut for the kids, and you get something for the dog.
Sounds good. Let's do this.
Whether you're shopping for gifts or something for yourself,
Don't forget toys for the dog.
rush in for Black Friday deals at Menards that everyone will love. Because when they're gone, they're gone.
Save big money at Menards.
You know what it's like to watch a winning team. Now it's your turn to be a part of one. The Illinois State Police is recruiting for our next cadet classes, and you could be our MVP. Protect the public, help those in need, and make a lasting impact in your community. Our mission, your future, higher purpose, higher pay. Starting pay is at $90,000 with incredible benefits package, including a take-home squad car, tuition reimbursement, paid leave, and more. Join the team that makes a difference. Apply today at IllinoisTrooper.com.
For the first time ever, Chicago Christian state champions. I can't wait to hear from their victorious head coach who's down with Casey.
Thanks, Sam. First, I've got Kenny Jager. Kenny, congratulations. 223 yards and a touchdown. Did you think it would feel this good?
I don't know. I don't know if it really feels real yet. Like, obviously, we won, but, like, we've been waiting for this moment forever, and it's just taking it all in.
So many of you guys are two-way players. How did that help give you the advantage here today?
I mean, I think just the chemistry, both of us going the same way. We've all been playing together for 4 years. Some of us even been playing together since, like, kindergarten. So we all know each other so well. We fight for each other. I mean, yeah, that's how we do it.
Congratulations, Kenny. Go enjoy this one. I'm going to bring in Coach. Hey, Coach, congratulations. Who do we got with us here?
This is Elisha, my son. He's 7 years old. He's the man.
Hi, Elijah. You're missing some teeth. Did you get the tooth fairy? Hi. Are you proud of your dad?
Oh, thank you, baby boy.
Coach, this is your first state title win as a first-year head coach. It's really unheard of. What emotions are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling so much. It's been a grateful feeling that I don't even feel that I'm able to put into words, but experience at the level that I can. Like, God's goodness is just so wonderful. The blessing of what this is today for our community, for our people, for our leadership, for our coaching staff, for our boys, it's absolutely wonderful.
What's the secret? How do you feel like you know how to get the best out of your players when they need it most?
The secret is that they know who their creator is and that they play for something much bigger. That's what the secret is.
Congratulations, guys.
Casey.
All right, we'll send it back over to you guys.
Oh, Elisha's a cutie. I think he's missing a couple teeth, though. Let's go to the public address for this trophy ceremony.
Fans, we direct your attention to the Hancock Stadium field for presentation of the Class 2A first and second individual and team awards. Members of the IHSA Board of Directors on hand today to help with the awards presentation are Dan Tully of Niles Notre Dame, Mike Castleman of Olympia, Dr. Scott Adrian of Dunlap, Katie Caslett of Dunlap, Katie Hassan of Taylor Ridge Rock Ridge, Tom Shergan of Chicago de La Salle, and Dwayne Bates of Glenbard East. First, representing Maroa-Forsyth, Superintendent Adam Ibbotson, Principal Bryce Stewart, Athletic Director Phil Appleby, Coach Josh Jostis, and the captains of runner-up Maroa-Forsyth. A special medallion will be presented to the administrators, and individual awards will be presented to Coach Jostis and his team captains. And now the second place trophy will be presented to the Trojans of Maroa-Forsyth, who finished the season with a final record of 12 wins and 2 losses. And now the presentation of the championship, 2A championship medallions and trophy. Representing Chicago Christian Superintendent Mark Hamstra, Principal Mike Drury, Athletic Director Mark Zilstra, and Coach CJ Cesario, and the captains of champion Chicago Christian. A special medallion is being presented to the administrators and individual awards to Coach Cesario and his team captains.
Hello?
And now this year's state championship Class 2A team trophy will be presented to the Knights of Chicago Christian, who finished the season with a final record of 13 wins and 1 loss.
Chicago Christian with a 47-0 demolition derby. At the biggest of stages, Jack, it was perfect.
Well, if you want to peak after 13 games, you say, okay, our 14th game, how are we going to play? Chicago Christian peaked today on both offense and defense. They played a near perfect game.
It makes sense. Almost all their players play on offense and defense, and they were flawless today, delivering their school the first state title in program history. Montini and Monticello coming up next in Class 3A. But first, let's head to the studio with Marshall Harris and Tim Edgy O'Halloran.
All right,
the action continues.
Thank you so much, Sam. We appreciate it, Jack. Such a great start to this day in terms of one-sided performances when you're talking about two teams who've come up with absolute beatdowns. The latest, a 47-0 win. Edgy, I didn't see this coming, but what you probably also didn't see coming is just how good the individual performance would be for these two teams.
Yeah, and again, these are traditional powers that have been beaten soundly in this game. And again, all the credit in the world to Chicago Christian. CJ Cicero is going to be a very popular name on the coaches circuit this offseason. And for maybe some opportunities, we'll see. But what an impressive run.
For Maroa-Forsyth, they probably could not have conceived how this day would end.
To take the tape, you bury it, and you never look at it ever again, and use that as motivation to get you back here next year.
All right, so Maroa-Forsyth, they don't score. They get outgained 446 yards to 23. We will talk about it all, plus break down the next game, as we're not done. We're just getting started halfway through day one of championship day. We'll be back in a moment.
As winter approaches, we're watching out for winter's first sign, frost. Freezing temperatures turn moisture in the air into delicate ice crystals, decorating everything from your morning windshield to garden plants. Bridges are especially prone to frost, where it forms faster and creates slick conditions. As frost paints the landscape, it can also harm delicate plants and create slick spots overnight. To stay safe, protect your garden with covers, plan for a bit of extra commute time, and stay alert for icy patches, especially on bridges.
This severe weather tip is brought to you by Bryant Industries.
I surrender.
All right, Tom.
Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's up?
Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Can I play with it?
No, absolutely not. It's not a toy. You know that. Anyway, I need it to protect you, your sister, and Mom.
But what about the 8 kids who get shot every day by mistake?
Where'd you hear that?
Where do you keep it?
It's hidden.
I bet it's on the top shelf of the closet, under your sweatshirts. Is it loaded? Remember when I found my Christmas gift? You always told me to be curious.
No, that's not what I meant.
And when it's just me and Mom, I could use the gun to protect her.
No, Justin, I promise. I'm always here for you.
But Dad, you're not always here.
So much of our day-to-day lives starts with agriculture, and there's an easy way for you to find out how. WCIA3's Ag in the Classroom is your look into everything that leads back to agriculture, like what connects the farm to appliances we use every day.
We eat, we have to wash dishes.
Yep.
She got tired of that. She invented a dishwasher that could do that.
It's a great day to learn about agriculture here in Central Illinois. Join me for Ag in the Classroom.
Monday mornings on The Morning Show on WCIA3, sponsored by United Prairie.
Ashley.
Chicago Christian celebrating its first ever trip to the 2A state title game. They are state champions, 1-for-1 now. They can say they've done it. Welcome back into our IHSA Network studios alongside Edgy Tim O'Halloran. I'm Marshall Harrison. We've got 2 games down. We've got 2 games to go. Before we move on to 3A, let's talk a little bit about 2A and the surprise that Chicago Christian was. They finished the season at 13-1 on the season, but more importantly, they finished as state champions.
Yeah, and you saw it very early on. We talked about how Chicago Christian was just a rugged, kind of gritty team and nothing real fancy. You didn't have major Division I guys in this lineup. But boy, you had just 9 2A starters in this lineup that someone forgot to tell them that they're not Division I guys because they played like they were Division I guys. Every effort, extra yards, extra this, extra that. They did everything. I mean, if you're CJ Cesario, I don't know, outside of the one fumble, I don't think you could have drawn it up any better. And it just showed, especially in the second half, the defense really was able to get back on Maroa's heels, and it was a completely dominating win, no question.
All right, let's take a look back at how this all went down, because it really was dominance from start to finish. Pick it up in the second quarter, maybe the only highlight for Maroa-Forsyth. Kenny Jager, he loses the ball here, stripped away. Grant Smith comes up with the fumble recovery, but they're down 13-0, and Chicago Christian gets the ball right back. And check out what happens with under 30 seconds to play in the first half. Ball pops loose. A lot of different players getting their hands on it, but it was eventually
right there. It's your day.
Yeah,
it's your day. If this happens, it's your day.
And that was a big play there by Nico, and then it's more Flutman.
Yeah.
Able to finish it off strong. He had 3 touchdowns rushing, 8 carries, 86 yards, and he also did it through the air as well. 12 of 16, 132 yards passing, and a couple of touchdowns.
And again, this balance offensively is what they've been able to do all year. And again, that run game paid off today because they were able to lean on it when they needed it. And look at where it took them, 47-0 win.
23-yard touchdown to cap off what we thought was capping off the score. They would score again. 47-0 is your final score. Looking at what Chicago Christian was able to do here, what do you think was the most effective part of their game?
Boy, that's a really good question because it all seemed to work. But effective part of their game, I thought, was this is a high-flying offense that defensively, you just took them out of their game plan. We talked about it early. Maroa never seemed comfortable from very early on. The defense had pressure up front. You're scrambling, and Maroa just didn't see much of this all year. So again, you look at the effort here and the strip sack recovery, and whatever momentum you have, gone. And that's great defense. Big guy's going to the house. He's going to make it.
That's a second strip sack right there for Brock Sperling. Unable to quite complete the journey home, if you will. But it's just a great game in the fact that they didn't just do it on offense. Yes, they put up 47 points, but we can't talk enough about what they were able to do against a passing attack. This is a team that had a 3,300-yard passer, and they were able to shut him down effectively. Just 16 yards passing, 23 yards of total offense.
The conditions did not help. Let's be fair. The conditions are not very favorable for throwing the ball around 30, 40, 50 times in the game like today. So you need to understand that certainly played a factor in it. But again, defense is defense, and they played fantastic defense tonight for Chicago Christian.
If you're Maroa-Forsyth, where do you go from here?
Yeah, you pick up the pieces and move forward. That's all. Josh Jostes is one of the top coaches in the state. He's going to look back, and he'll find a teaching moment out of this. Or, as I said, he'll bury the tape and never look at it. One way or the other, Maroa will move on, and more often than not, they'll be back here again.
And it'd be interesting to see, because this was definitely one of those, the literal expression is, revenge, a dish served cold. Yeah. It was freezing out there today. A reminder that Maroa-Forsyth, they're the team that ended Chicago Christian's season last year when they beat them 42-6 in the first round of the playoffs. So things have certainly changed over the course of a season. CJ Cesario has to be happy with what he's been able to do as a first-year head coach. We'll come back, talk more about it, get you ready for 3A on the other side.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation